On today's show, we're going to be talking about how different religions and different faiths look at personal experience in life. Some have a very prosperity gospel. If you're part of the faith, you'll be blessed in everything you do, you'll be wealthy and well looked after. Others have a more martyristic concept of faith. If you're suffering, it's not because God is angry with you, it's to purify you of sins so you can become a better person. These are very different concepts. Some even take this with the nation. I mean, if a nation has a large percentage of its population of a particular religion, should the nation by itself be prosperous? Or if the nation is struggling, is this a punishment from God? Or is this a test from God to show them the errors of their way? How do we understand these different concepts many religious people have? Like some believe if a nation goes to war, the war should go smoothly. Others say if the war is going on and the victory hasn't been achieved yet, it's just a test from God. Like, how do we understand these concepts? And so many people have very different and very contradictory viewpoints on this subject.
My sense is that all of those examples you gave are actually the same.
Okay.
That is, they all are a similar kind of idolatry.
Okay.
They're all a similar kind of presumption about God.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things that one could unwrap in each one of them, but let's just stick to the heart of the matter here. When Jesus Christ spoke with his disciples, when he meets the various people we see him encounter in the Gospels, what's he doing? What's he doing? Is he giving them a theology of God? Is he telling them if they do this and that and the other thing, everything will be all right? Or is he telling them if they're suffering in this way, they're suffering because, as his disciples said to him, did the parents or the grandparents do something bad, which has come to this person again? Jesus Christ's whole disposition is different than that. It's different than that. I've often thought, Derek, that it's part of what I would call natural religion. That is the kind of natural impulse to make meaning, which I think is on the one hand, the deepest and the highest part of the human mind and the human heart. We have to have meaning in life. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we disintegrate. These great questions. Why do I exist and not exist? Is it possible for there to be something that's real, or is everything an illusion? Is there truth, or is everything simply up for grabs? So what we see in Jesus Christ is not an argument about what God is up to with you, not suggesting that this is wrong and that is right. We're seeing him in response to the depth of the heart of the person. The depth of their heart. Why? Because, as we say in our tradition, Jesus Christ is fully God and fully human. The fullest expression we have of both. And because of that, and we also say that the incarnation is a healing mission. God incarnated, became man and walked among us in order to heal us. To heal us of what? Largely of our fantasies about God.
Mm-hmm.
Because our fantasies about God directly transfer onto our fantasies about who human beings are, who is right and who's wrong, who is being welcomed by God, who's being thrust out by God. All of that is the way pagan religion worked. That's the way pagan religion worked. It is religions of in and out. It's religions that require you to do certain things to pay obeisance to the deity, or then the deity is going to be angry with you. Well, the Christian revelation, indeed the Jewish revelation, the whole of the Hebrew Bible is that story, is all about how that's a misunderstanding. That's a profound misunderstanding, and it's called idolatry. Because God is the lover of the world. God only wants life. In God there is no death, no shadow of turning. God is always pursuing human beings to bring them home. And bring them home to where? To themselves. And to proper relationships with others in the world. And proper relationship to the lover of the world as well. So the way of framing those questions around whether religion is useful or not, what its impact is on a religious period in human culture or a particular community, those are complex questions and have to do with a great variety of things, and certainly many religious ideas are tangled up in that. But we have to be clear about the fact that the set of things that you laid out, all of them, are actually idolatries, are ways of misunderstanding God, which excuse us, they excuse us from the great acts of mercy and compassion that we see Jesus Christ doing every day. They give us a justification for having more than we need if we're on the wealthy side of it, or they can give us a justification for our violent actions against other people, or they can give us a justification for why we're addicted to suffering, because suffering is also often an addiction and a way of your identity is all there negative in that space. None of that is what Jesus Christ is calling us towards. He's calling us towards the fullness of life, the renewal of our mind.
And that's funny you mentioned that. I mean, Jesus himself healed the leopard. He healed many other diseases as well. So clearly the Gnostic concept of religion, where they would destroy their bodies in different ways through excessive fasting or through excessive partying. In Christianity, the very fact there's healing of the body, we're not Gnostics.
And that's a very Jewish idea. You know, the Jewish tradition has an extremely healthy view of the human body. Indeed, a healthy view of all creation. After all, it is God's. God created the world. Yep. God created the human being. So there's this healthy view of this. One other thing about the healing narratives, which has struck me recently, you know, when we read them, they're multi-layered as well. And, you know, often people see the healing of the leper or the healing of the person who's blind or who's dumb or who's possessed of demons. We see those solely on the surface level. But there's a much more profound healing that takes place in all those narratives. Whatever happened to the diseases, each of those people, because they met the rabbi from Nazareth, no longer thought of themselves as the leper, the blind man, the one possessed of demons. They had recognized through this encounter his reaching into their heart touching them in the deepest way,
Mm.
that they were a human being. Whatever the leprosy was is secondary. They were a human being loved of God. Whatever the blindness was, it was secondary. So we have to remember that these narratives are speaking to us about the spiritual condition of people.
Mhm.
And that healing is always, and finally only, the healing that we see in the narrative of the temptation. We see how the disease entered. The disease entered through them forgetting who they were. They already were the image of God. That healing is always the same. It is a recognition, aha, I'm not who I thought I was. I'm the image of God. I am loved by the lover of the world. And that changes everything.